episode of the B-Movie Club. I'm your host, Kevin. This week we'll be discussing the 1982 comedy classic, Porky's, starring, I guess Kim Cattrall's in this in a small role, and Alex Karras, and that's probably about it. With me, you may recognize her, my sister Erin. Thank you for joining us.
Hello there.
For those of you joining us for the first time, the B-Movie Club, it's like a book club without all that pesky book reading, okay? We like to discuss forgotten classics and guilty pleasures. You can go ahead on our page on Facebook and give us a big thumbs up, Original B-Movie Club. Don't be fooled by all those imitators. You can also go on to our page on YouTube and click the subscribe button. And if you want to reach me directly, you can tweet me at Twitter at KD9575, my initials and my birthday, in case you want to send a gift. So, Porky's, what was this movie about, Erin?
It is about a young man, apparently from New York, living in Florida, coming of age. It takes place in the armpit of the United States, the great state of Florida. A state so terrible that several times a year, God tries to wipe it from the earth.
So if you happen to live in Florida right now, my apologies.
Yeah, my apologies, because you're living in Florida.
It takes place in fictional Angel Beach, Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who are some of the main characters that we see?
Well, really, it's about Pee-wee and his desperate need to lose his virginity.
It is very desperate. I mean, he seems like he's a man on death row half the time. He's like begging, borrowing, and stealing anything he can do.
Apparently, sex is free and easy in this little town in Florida.
In the 50s.
In the 50s. But somehow he manages to screw it up every time.
It's very upsetting. Very upsetting. You've got Pee-wee, you've got Meat, you've got Mickey, you've got Tommy, Timmy. Why do we need Tommy and a Timmy? I don't know.
And a healthy dose of racism. Let's not forget that.
More than a heaping helping of racism. It's really upsetting. You have Tommy, who's kind of the smart kid, right? Kind of the leader of the pack. Mm-hmm. Then you've got Timmy, his long-lost twin brother, who's also a racist.
Exactly.
So I guess you don't want to be, if you bump into one of them in the hall, I don't know, you don't want to be mistaking one for the other. There's also Brian, who's also in, what movie was he in? He was in Caddyshack.
He was in Caddyshack, where I believe in Porky's he's the nice Jewish boy, Caddyshack, nice Italian boy. I'm not sure, maybe there's another film where he's playing someone who's Arab. Because apparently dark-haired, olive complexion, you can play any role.
Exactly. He's a character actor.
He's a character actor. There you go.
In the 80s, about this time, there were a truckload of movies, coming-of-age movies about men losing their virginity. There's obviously Porky's that we're talking about. There's also Losing It with Tom Cruise. You remember that one?
I remember that.
Jackie Earle Haley.
Oh, God.
That was a good one. And there's also Last American Virgin. Mm-hmm. That was a good one. Very uplifting soundtrack. You had Journey and James Ingram and Lionel Richie. Very, very important. That's neither here nor there, though. They don't make too many. I guess American Pie. That's another one that came out years later.
I've never seen that?
That's a travesty and a shame. Okay, so the main nemesis of all these wascally teenagers is this guy Porky, who runs this adult gentleman's club.
Gentleman's club.
That's nice
House of ill repute in the bayou.
In the bayou. And they go down there because they think they could meet or purchase friendly, accessible ladies. Mm-hmm. But Porky's takes their money and basically dumps them in the swamp. So they're very upset. They try to get their revenge. I don't want to spoil everything. I don't want to give it all away.
But let me just say, Homeland Security would have been called, and these children would be in Gitmo right now.
Yes, yes. What they thought of as just teenage hijinks, not so much. More like felony mayhem and attempted murder.
And they're demolitions experts.
Right,
That's fascinating, because they don't seem to spend a lot of time in school, but I guess they're picking some things up.
Yes, this is true. This movie was considered one of the raunchiest movies of its time.
Siskel and Ebert.
Preach on, what did they say?
They said it is the worst movie of 1982.
And yet, it's still currently the highest money-grossing movie from Canada. Even though it was filmed in Miami and the entire cast were Americans, the production company was from Canada.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Something clearly is wrong also in Canada.
Very upsetting. What else?
I gotta tell you,
Please.
when I saw this, I think I was a junior in high school. When I saw this movie, I remember thinking, this is the funniest film I had ever seen in my life. Where I had the tears in my eyes, where I had a belly laugh. Of course, looking back on it now, maybe it was not so funny.
That's always upsetting when there's a movie you appreciated in your youth, and then you come back and see it as, say, a slightly older person. I don't know what that means. Somebody a little bit older, and it's not quite as funny anymore.
And it's not as raunchy as I remembered. I remember it just being so utterly disgusting. But really, the full frontal nudity is just, it's not as big as I remember it. It's more of the weird racism, the fighting, the plotting, the scheming, as opposed to just, the 70s Bush and girls dancing in the shower together.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, gentlemen, I don't know what you all think, because I see this in the movie Carrie too. When women are in the shower together, they're not practicing dance moves, they are not tickling each other, they are not singing little songs. We're taking care of business, we're averting eye contact, we're in, we're out. None of this weird male fantasy.
That's true, as far as I know.
Were you one of the eyes?
Sadly, that's the truth.
Sadly, that's the truth.
Other people, like I said, the cast are basically unknowns. I mean, you might have seen them here and there.
There's one person, and I'm not talking about crazy Kim Cattrall, whose Fanny you see. I'm talking about, do you remember Coach Ballbricker?
I vaguely remember. What else was she in?
Oh, my friend, a little movie called Motel Hell.
Oh, that's right.
What?
That is true. And we've done Motel Hell on the
What's the famous quote? Nothing so...
It takes all kind of critters
to make Farmer Vincent's fritters.
That's it.
And filmed in Castaic, by the way.
Beautiful. Meets meat.
Meets meat, and a man's gotta eat.
Yes.
Yes. Very famous for that. She was also in Steel Magnolias.
That's shocking.
That is shocking. Although it is at a wedding scene, she's Janice Van Meter. She's the lady who has the overly tight dress at the wedding, and they were commenting on that dress must have cost her $500, and she's not even wearing a girdle.
If you're waiting for the B Movie Club to do Steel Magnolias, you might be waiting for a long time.
Yes, that's probably more the menopausal women's movie review.
Kim Cattrall was a big star in the 80s. She was in
good
this.
with the dark hair.
Not bad. She was in Mannequin a few years later. She was actually in Star Trek 2.
What?
That's with Wrath of Khan. She was in Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, classic.
It also goes to show how old she really is when she was on Sex and the City.
I'm pretty sure she's like 74. Isn't she born in 1939? She's the same age as our mother, I think.
This is a sad but true
She sleeps
statement.
in one of those Michael Jackson oxygen chambers.
That is true. Now also Alex Karras, famous defensive tackle for the Detroit Lions, who became a sportscaster. Later went on to be on Webster with Emmanuel Lewis.
Webster, absolutely. And his wife is in this movie also.
Right.
Also the co-star of Webster.
Right.
She is what, Cherry Forever?
Cherry Forever. She's the crazy stripper they hire, which is very upsetting to me. Growing up on Webster, I knew that Alex Karras was in this. He was also Mongo in Blazing Saddles.
That's right.
But yeah, to see Ma'am, as she was known affectionately, on Webster with George Papadopoulos, okay? To see her, she's the crazy stripper that they hire. It's very upsetting.
There's
That's all I
too
can
much
say.
skin. There's too much skin. Poor Webster. No wonder he turned out the way he did. His mama was a hooker.
Little did we know. Little did we know. What else can we say about this movie?
I once again, I have to say, I expected to watch it and take a shower afterwards because I was going to feel so dirty, but it really was not as bad as I thought it was.
It's still pretty rough, though. By modern days political correctness, if you will.
Yeah, they normally do not show erect penises and full frontal bush, 70s bush, where you need like a fro pick.
Typically they don't.
Although Kevin tells me this is a family show, so I
Yes.
can't say anything more than 70s bush.
Yeah, that's probably saying too much as it is, ladies and gentlemen. This movie was written and directed by Bob Clark, who based it upon his experiences growing up in the 50s in Florida and like experiences of his friends. He actually made not one, not two, but 3 sequels. Okay?
I have some trivia about that, my
Lay
friend.
it on me.
Do you realize he also directed the greatest Christmas story ever, A Christmas Story?
Very good.
And
very
the
good.
studio did not want to make it. They wanted him to do Porky's 2, and he would only do Porky's 2 if they let him do A Christmas Story.
There you go. Very nice.
One of the greatest holiday films ever.
They actually went ahead and filmed Porky's 3, The Revenge, a couple years without him. And in fact, the good thing that they did is they trimmed about half the cast for Porky's Revenge. You no longer had to deal with a Tommy and a Timmy. Okay? Billy was still there. They got rid of Mickey as well. So they got rid of the 2 racists, essentially. They said racism. Okay, this is the late 80s now.
This
no
is the
more
late
racism.
80s. No more racism.
And actually in the 2000s, Howard Stern acquired the rights in 2002 to Porky's. He thought he was going to make a new, updated version.
What happened to that?
Didn't happen for whatever reason. There were lawsuits involved. But a kind of unofficial sequel called Pimpin' Pee-wee was made in 2009. Haven't seen it. Can't vouch for it.
You know, I feel there's a hole in my life because I saw that and then I realized they never actually made the remake. Gosh.
It's very upsetting.
I feel like there's really something missing from my soul now.
Yes, I can see that now. How can we go on?
How can we go on? It's going to be, the casting's going to be very controversial, like 50 Shades of Grey. Who will play Pee-wee? Will it be Brad Pitt? Because frankly, everyone in the original Porky's was about 35 years old.
They
Even
were.
when I was in high school, I was like, these people look old.
It was very upsetting.
Yes.
Very upsetting. So that's all we can say about the listeners. Anything else you'd like to toss in about Porky's?
I think we have it covered.
It currently holds a 28% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. That's just a tragedy. It's a shame. It's a mockery. It is still streaming instantly. Actually, it's not streaming instantly. We had to dig it up through our own devices.
I had to get a bootleg copy.
She had to get a bootleg copy. I had to just order it through Netflix on snail mail because for some reason they don't want this showing streaming instantly. So you have
It's
to,
too dangerous.
It's too
too dangerous for the general public.
can't go there. So you have to like dust off your grandma's old copy, you know, sit around, like start a fire and watch it with all of your local clergy, if you will.
I would suggest maybe a couple of beers. It might help warm you up for this.
Like right after Thanksgiving dinner, just pop it in.
I
and
say
enjoy
during
it.
Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Just wheel the TV in, scoop
Why not?
grandma over, pop on Porky's.
Why not? Just the way the Pilgrims did it.
Exactly.
So, we're going to move away from Porky's. Next week, we're going to be going to the horror genre. We're getting a little closer to Halloween right now.
Nice.
We're going to be doing the Michael Caine classic. What is it?
The Island.
No? Angie Dickinson?
It's John Carpenter.
No?
Is it Angie Dickinson?
Angie Dickinson.
Is she wearing a black trench coat?
Maybe. Possibly. We're doing Dress to Kill.
That's what I meant. That's not John Carpenter?
No. Sadly, it's not.
Snap.
We're going to do Dress to Kill.
I did remember.
It's a Brian De Palma film.
That's what I meant.
It is great. It is excellent. If you haven't seen it, it is streaming instantly on Netflix. So rush out and see it. Send in your questions, comments, favorite scenes, favorite quotes. Like I said, you can subscribe on our page on YouTube. You can like us on
Facebook.
And you can always tweet us on Twitter at KD9575.
Yeah, you can tweet him. I'm not going to give you my Twitter.
She doesn't want to
can't
put it
have
out there into the world.
It's enough.
So, it's true. So, feel free, send in anything you'd like to say, and I'd love to talk about it on the show. Don't forget to spread the word. The more the merrier, if you will. As you know, I end every episode with a totally out of context quote. And here it is. What do you use for a jockstrap, kid? A peanut shell and a rubber band? Thank you. Thank you. We're here all week. So, next week, Dress to Kill. Let me go ahead and thank Erin for joining us.
Why, thank you, Brother Kevin.
Yep, we've done it on Skype a few times, and we may do it on Skype again. This is the first time she's been in studio, if you will. We're on location. So if you'd like to Skype me on the show, let me know. We'll see what we can do. Also, I don't know if you're aware of this, YouTube is cracking down on music that I've been using on the show. So if you are a composer with a Casio keyboard or a kazoo or a harmonica or just a triangle, we'd love to take your song for free and have it be our new theme song.
Now, Kevin, you know I enjoy the karaoke. Would you like me to compose a special song just for B Movie Club?
Is it a spoken word?
It could be a spoken word, or it could be work on this. I think I got something going on here.
We may need to
B Movie Club.
There you go.
With Kevin. B Movie Club. It writes itself.
It writes it. See? Thank you very much. So again, next week, Dress to Kill. Thank you for joining us, and be well.
Sayonara.